Hey there. Welcome to the Eurostep Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, presented by our pals at Prize Picks, where you, yes, you, can use code Eurostep to get $50 when you play $5 on the app. Download it today. I am Ty Windisch, joined as always by my very dapper, looking extremely cozy in a nice white sweater for those of you not watching on YouTube, my co-host Rohan Katti. Rohan, good morning. Happy Wednesday. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I thought it was Tuesday for a second, so thank you for that.
We're back.
Uh, we're so back. You know what? I love when it's cold because then I can bring up my sweaters. I'm a sweater guy. I love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
I am
You just
too.
feel so cozy.
Can you believe we are 2 weeks away from Christmas?
I can't believe it. Yeah, it's almost 2025. That's insane.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean?
Are you an early Christmas shopper or a late Christmas shopper?
I did my shopping early this year.
I'm not done. I've got a good amount of it done, but I'm not done yet.
Hmm. I made sure to take advantage of some deals on like Black Friday week.
Yeah, that was smart of
So,
you. I avoided that whole week because I feel like when I get on, like, you open up wherever you're shopping, I just end up with so much crap that I don't need or want that's not gifts. So I've been trying to avoid the Cyber Monday, the Black, because I'm like, I don't really need that many things. I feel like I'm pretty much set.
that's fair. That is very fair. It takes a lot of just straight dedication to be like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want this. I don't want this. It's
Yeah.
difficult. It's really
Yeah.
difficult. They make it hard on you.
You know what always gets me when I don't is any of the, like, the smart things.
Really?
Yeah, like the not like the big ticket. Like, I won't do it. I don't want a smart fridge. Like, I refuse. I just need you to keep food cold. I don't need to talk to you. Like, I don't want to talk to you, frankly. I just want to go get my food or beverage. But like the light bulbs and the outlets
Oh,
and
I like the
stuff.
smart light bulbs.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, that would be cool. I could add that. I'm like, no, I don't. I can just flip the
I'll
switch.
tell
I'm
you, no,
okay.
the smart light bulbs are nice though. I got a few
I
of them.
know, I know. I'm going to eventually get some of them, but not this year. Anyway, let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. We are, well, we're not, unfortunately. Maybe you are. You're kind of a world traveler.
I
The Bucks are
wish I
going to
was.
Vegas. Yeah, you picked up on that. The Bucks are going to Vegas after a hard-fought 114-109 win over the shorthanded Orlando Magic. Did not have Paolo Banchero, who has been out with a torn oblique. Did not have Franz Wagner, who is now out with a torn oblique. I don't know how that's spreading. And then Jonathan Isaac missed the game because it was a basketball game and he's Jonathan Isaac. But the Bucks hold on. I mean, I'll start here. Were you surprised this game was close? Because I was
Not
not.
even a little bit.
No.
No, not
It's
even a
not
little bit.
not even all Bucks though for me.
No, it's to deal with the Magic, and a lot of that is because of their overall defense, and specifically like their backcourt defense. Like
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs has been a menace for a while now, and anytime you have a backcourt demon who can really try their best to disrupt uh, a guy like Damian Lillard, plus when you're starting a guy like Andre Jackson Jr., where you can just, we'll talk about him in a bit, but
Yeah.
just leave him a bit on offense, yeah, that's gonna spell trouble. Plus, this Magic team, it's like if they just have so many defensive weapons, regardless of whether Isaac is playing or not, or Paolo. It's just like, you go up and down the roster, and it's just guys who know how to play smart defense.
Yep.
I say smart defense, maybe not Goga. On that last possession for that Dame
Oh,
lead, that was crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
That was
I
insane.
mean, I really couldn't believe that Dame didn't pass it, and clearly Goga thought that he was going to because he just like ran out of the way of Dame. That was pretty. That in the replay, I was like, how did that work out for Milwaukee? To be honest with you, it did. Shout out to Dame. Yeah, I think this Orlando team has a lot of the things that give the Bucks trouble. Generally, they're young and athletic. They have really athletic kind of rim running style bigs, which is always difficult for the Bucks. I think that the kind of bigs that kind of give Bobby and Brook trouble in different ways, although Bobby hasn't had much trouble with anything over the last two games, which we'll get into. But funny enough, like Wendell Carter Jr., a guy who I think has been the apple of a lot of Bucks fans and just people around the league's eyes. I thought he was okay.
He's been the
Really,
apple. Is
the
that a
apple
thing?
of the apple of your eye. Yeah,
Oh, sure.
it's desired.
Okay.
I think I'm not gonna look it up. I think that's an
No,
expression.
I
It
believe
is
you.
now.
I mean, I'm the one who's asking. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I didn't think that was one you wouldn't have heard.
The bar is
It is
low,
weird.
Ty.
It is weird. The apple of my eye. Yeah, I'm positive that's an expression. But anyway, Goga and Mo Wagner, who of course was going to be 6 for 6 from the field in this game and hit a three. Those were the guys who I thought did well. Then of course Suggs, who had 32 points and added. He got credited with 4 steals. I felt like he had 4 steals in the first 5 minutes of this game on Giannis drives. I mean, Giannis reined it in, but he is all over the place defensively. He is, I think, a legit DPOY candidate. I'm guessing it's going to go to Wemby, but I would say he and Tari Eason, from what we've seen so far this season, are the 2 most disruptive players I can remember, at least the Bucks playing. Both of those guys really caused a lot of problems for Milwaukee, one-on-one and when they were the help defenders. But they're fast, they're young. They had a really poor shooting night, which ended up being the reason they lost. Orlando shoots 22% from the field. Obviously, you're missing the offense of your 2 best offensive players. I do think they're probably a slightly better defensive team without those guys. Like, there was really nowhere you could go pick on at all. I thought KCP, he's not been shooting the ball well. His defense looked really good to me in this game, too. I was like, man, I thought he may be kind of a weak link here. I know he's a good defender, but really everyone did their part. Cole Anthony, I think, may have been the biggest reason the Bucks won. He had a tough game on both ends, but I was not surprised at all. I know this. I don't usually talk about this stuff, but the lines opened up at like Bucks favored by 8.5, and it quickly got hammered down to like 5.5, which ended up being really close, unsurprisingly. It was a 5-point game. I think 8.5 for any cup game, or at least involving the Bucks and a team as scrappy as this Orlando team. I thought that was big all along. It would have been great if the Bucks just came out and blew out Orlando, but that is certainly not what happened.
Yeah, that's certainly not what happened at all. I mean, yeah, you have to take into account this is a NBA Cup quarterfinal game. Like, these guys really took it seriously.
Oh yeah,
Even though it's
Doc.
No, Doc, he's got it. Am I making this up, or did Giannis say that he wants to win the cup so Liam Robbins can buy a house?
Did he say that? That's
I
awesome.
can't. I gotta confirm that. But
well, I guess, yeah. I mean, what did he get? $500K?
yeah,
That's a pretty nice house in Milwaukee, man.
yeah. I don't know if it was in Milwaukee. I think it was like Iowa or something.
Oh, come on, Liam. I guess that makes sense. He's on a 2-way. I mean, that's a real nice house in Iowa.
Oh yeah.
That's a manor, dude. Wow. I did not see that, but I hope I hope I see Liam Robbins in Oshkosh soon.
Yeah. But these guys are taking it seriously. You can tell they want to win these games. And this Magic team, they're young, they're scrappy. They want to make some noise for themselves. They're a young, up-and-coming team. They haven't won a playoff series since Stan was there or something like that.
I think so.
So, like, this opportunity presents itself to be able to stamp yourself in this league. And of course, this Magic team is going to want to take advantage of that. I think I've said this before, but this Magic team a little bit reminds me of like a 7 years ago Bucks team, in that they just try their hardest to scrap their way on defense no matter what, and then their shooting and their offense kind of lets them down. So they still need to figure that part out. But I mean, it's a good team, man. It's a really good team.
Steve Novak said that. So I don't know if that's true, but it's a real thing. At least 2 different people posted about it that I could see. So I think that's a real thing.
Cool.
According to Steve Novak.
Which we'll take that as a grain of salt.
Yeah. But I said we would open with this. We opened with the game itself, which I think is fine. And we'll get to, obviously, Giannis and Dame, who were the headliners. They combined for 65 of Milwaukee's 114 points. The next leading scorer by a wide margin, Bobby Buckets Portis, who we were some of the biggest Bobby detractors. And listen, he was playing very poorly. Yeah, when he plays poorly, we're going to say that. When he plays really well, we're going to say that. And I shouldn't open. I deserve to open by saying he has been phenomenal these last, I believe he was 9 for 10 against Brooklyn, follows that up with 9 for 11 here against Orlando in the big cup game. His outside shooting is a game changer for the Bucks, but I'll say, like, I think I would be much higher on Bobby today, even if he was 5 for 10, 5 for 11 in those games, like just, average good shooting. I think his defense and rebounding has been a lot better too. I mean, the rebounding, that was the Boston game, I believe, where he first had a ton of rebounds. He has continued to do that. defensively, he's looked good as well. I think some of this has coincided. Brook has had probably his worst 3-game stretch of the year, Brook Lopez. And I think at that point, kind of the other option will just always look better. But I think the offensive explosion is clear from Portis, but also I think his defense, rebounding, his defending, and his passing. I mean, he had 4 assists again in this game. Like, he's just a much more involved in a good way. Like, he's moving on defense. He's contesting shots. Like, I really like the way he's playing, even outside of just going like, yeah, I mean, when you're, 18 for 21 over a 2-game stretch, you're probably going to be a net positive. I think it's been more than just the shooting for Portis, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've said a lot on this podcast about what does Bobby do besides just, be a black hole in offense. I want to see him do something else. We're starting to see that, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, he's getting his passing game involved. He's being more locked in on defense. There's still, I know this, we're saying good things. There's still a lot of possessions where he looks so lost out there, and
Yeah.
it's really tough. And it's like, oh, okay, let's come back down to earth a little bit. But you can't argue with this offensive output. You really can't. I mean, scoring the ball at an insane clip. Anytime he touches the ball and puts it up, you're like, oh, that's going in easily. He was like it. His post game has been so good these last couple games. During the late stages of the Magic game, this thought crossed my mind, and I can't imagine why I would ever think that. But it's like, imagine Giannis on these post games.
Oh, man. He's working on it. Well, I mean, this probably was the first time this season where late in the Orlando game they cleared out to post him up on someone, and Giannis was on the court, and I was like, you know what?
I wasn't mad at him.
Go for it. He earned it. You want a stat?
I love stats.
Last 10 games, net rating, Bobby leads all rotation players, plus 10 net over the Bucks' last 10 games. So it's not just he looks good. And this is 10 games, not just 3 games. They have played better with Bobby on the court over the last 10 games than any other rotational piece. Khris is plus 19, 63 minutes. So if you want to count Khris, that's fine. We will talk about him too. We have not potted since he came back to action, which is great. But yeah, it is a huge swing for the Bucks. And also you can tell they've been playing well because they have been basically positive in almost everyone's minutes outside of Liam Robbins and Pat Connaughton, which is 30 combined minutes. So the real rotation playing very well over the most recent 10 games this year.
Yeah, it's been a really good revelation, and this is part of why the Bucks have really turned the season around. Is the rotation players playing really well around them? Like we've talked about this before, Giannis and Dame playing so well. But you can't just have 2 players on a basketball team. It's 5-on-5 for a reason. So being able to have the ancillary pieces really step it up has really led to this season being turned around. I mean, we've talked about it with AJ Green. We've talked about it with Gary Trent, Bobby Portis, DeLon Wright, who's out of the rotation because of Khris Middleton now, as you astutely predicted. Taurean Prince, he's cooled down a little bit.
3 zeros in a row, but he's just not doing anything. I wonder if he's still feeling the effects of that illness. So 3 0-point games in a row, but the first one he left halfway through, and I feel like his minutes have been reduced in the last 2.
Yeah. Hope everything's good with TP.
Yeah. Not sure how much longer he's going to be starting for. Probably at least a little bit here as Khris gets his minutes up. They said on the broadcast on TNT, maybe a little longer. So, Doc wants to bring him off the bench, not because he wants to bring him off the bench, but because he wants him to close. And that's just the way the rotation makes sense with him only playing. TNT, they were like, yeah, he's probably going to play 25 minutes tonight. I was like, Jared Greenberg, respectfully, no shot. He plays under 20 minutes in that game. Jared Greenberg is just talking sometimes, I think. But
he's trying to get in on all the announcers giving the Milwaukee Bucks
all the little scoops.
He's like, Mike Breen can do this. Why can't I? Yeah, Mark Jones is doing it.
Just drop one in there.
Like, bro, it didn't work out. Play-by-play guy. That's Brian Anderson's job.
Mark Jones is the one who nailed it, wasn't he?
I think so.
I think he was like, yeah, like next week. And we're all like, wait, what? And it was pretty close to next week. Maybe he was probably jumped the gun a little bit on that. But I think we're probably going to see 25, 28 minutes from Khris before he's back, probably.
You'd hope so.
closer to back starting, to that than 20. And I think it was 23 against Boston and then closer to 20 the last two games. So I don't think that means he's trending the wrong direction. I'm guessing they probably just got caught up in the game flow a little bit, the big Celtics game. Haven't heard any updates other than that, but you hope to see him get up to 25 in the next couple of weeks here, maybe even in one of these NBA Cup games later this week. We'll see. But yeah, I think the starting lineup right now is so funny because it's going to be Khris in front instead of Prince. I think Doc basically said that, which means Andre Jackson Jr., who sometimes plays 20 minutes, sometimes plays 8 minutes, is going to continue being a starter.
It's the Thon Maker Memorial start.
Is this the most fascinating story on the Bucks right now? I mean, Giannis and Dame's chemistry on the way up, beautiful alley-oops in this game, and their pick and roll look great. Khris returning is a huge deal. The role players is a huge deal. Everything else going on with this team, and the whole big rotation I think is fascinating. I think Ajax might be the most interesting part of the team right now because he has become a lightning rod of discourse for like, does Doc need to play him more? Is the minutes rotation right now? And what do you think? Because I've talked about this quite a bit. I talked about it with Newmock in the last pod. What do you think about Ajax in the rotation and how Doc has a pretty quick pull on him right now, we'll say.
I think he's fine to start because you see a lot of the benefits of starting a guy like that in whatever game. So like you go back to that Nets game, you have a Bucks killer and Dennis Schroeder, who Ajax didn't really stop him at all. But that's the theory, right? That's what you go in trying to do is like, oh, okay, here's a guy. Ajax, go mess him up. Like, yeah, just go get him. Like, go get him. That I see the value in that, especially trying to alleviate some pressure on Dame, who has talked a lot about his defense recently, and it's like he's not the worst defender in the league. Like we're not seeing that level of Damian Lillard defense. We're not seeing him being the best defender in the league. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Dame's defense. It's hit or miss, and that's what, I'll take that for his offensive output. I'll take that any day of the week. But you don't want him guarding a lot of backcourt players, where it's like that's where you get a guy like Ajax to go do the work of one, sometimes two people on defense. So I see a lot of the value in that. The offense is so tough. It's so tough. And I will say credit to Ajax. He is more decisive in his shots now, where he is actually trying to get to the rim at times. He's scoring at the rim because the opposing team is like, this guy's not going to do anything. Because that's the scouting report, because that's what we've seen him do. Nothing. Trying to do that. He's taking some more threes earlier on in the game to try to gain some respect and making them at a decent clip. Credit to him. It's just a lot. He just provides a lot of space for the defense, not his own
reverse
team.
Space. Reverse space.
Which it makes it a little tough when it's those Giannis Ajax minutes, and this is something we've talked about a lot when it comes to Andre Jackson Jr. is how does he really play with Giannis? And I think it's at least in the first 10 minutes of the game, the offense just looks a little disjointed.
Yeah,
like you don't see them getting off to strong starts, and it's because you're starting two non-shooting threats. And again, Ajax is shooting it more and making them at a pretty good clip, but he's just not a shooting threat. He's not. Teams aren't going to guard him. And he's not like going to try to seek out those shots. He's not a threat from 3-point line. So why would you even try to guard him, especially when Giannis and Dame are up there?
Exactly. Well, and it's the Brook Lopez corollary too, which Ajax is open to shoot a corner three every possession. You employ Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. You don't get those players to have Ajax in the mid-30s shooting threes every possession. It's the same as Brook Lopez. It's the same idea of like, great, we can generate shots for Brook Lopez and Andre Jackson Jr. That's not the point, right? Like we have two of the best offensive players in the world. You don't get those guys.
Those two aren't even your shooting threats that you're like,
no,
okay.
No, but it's like you don't get those two players to like, okay, we get open shots for a guy that the other teams want to shoot in either Brook Lopez or Ajax, right? Like that's not good. That's not why you get those players. I mean, you want good offense. We talk about ball movement and everything else. I don't want to see like, okay, it's the open shot, so Ajax is going to take 5 threes in the first quarter. That's not good. And I think there's got to be that balance. He's got to shoot them sometimes. He's got to not sometimes. And I thought in this Orlando game in particular, he had 2 early fouls and got pulled for a long time after that. And then in the second half, he didn't shoot in 2 possessions where he got the ball, and the offense just totally ground to a halt. And that's when Doc pulled him for, I think, the entire rest of the game, or maybe until he came in to defend in garbage time.
He played less than 2 minutes in the second half.
Yeah. I get it. I'm not opposed to him losing those minutes. And it's not, I think some people approach oh, Ajax has to play through this to learn. This season is not about Andre Jackson Jr. That is not the point of the 2024-25 Milwaukee Bucks. They are trying to win it all.
It's about AJ Green. Sorry, no.
Yeah, it's about AJ Green. But and especially a game like this. I mean, this cup game, they're clearly taking seriously. They're treating it not totally, but somewhat like a playoff game. If he's gumming up the offense like that in a playoff game, you would want him pulled. And you could say maybe I'd like to see him play through it more against some teams. He played 20 minutes against Brooklyn, right? They're not shunning him in every game, but big games like you want to go up against the Celtics or you're in this NBA Cup game. I don't have a problem with Doc treating it like a serious game and going, okay, this guy is killing our offense. And in some of these games, Ajax has had a good plus minus, and it's felt worse that he didn't play. He was a team low -9. And I think it felt like it because, to your point, the starters' offense was just bad. I would like to see him get more shifts in these games in that situation whenever Giannis does sit, like to open the fourth when it's Dame and friends. I think you can play him then and just have him screen.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's his best lineup versus place to be is the non-Giannis minutes, where it's okay, Dame and Ajax. That's a good pairing. It's a really good pairing. The issue is Giannis plays 35 minutes a game.
Yeah, Giannis plays a lot of the games.
And again, you even see in that Brooklyn game, Giannis plays 38 minutes. Still, Ajax gets 20 plus minutes. But in this game against the Magic, it's Giannis is playing. The second half stats up. Giannis is playing 35 minutes in this game. Ajax is getting 8. This was a game specifically where you're playing against a really, really tough, smart defense. Tough, smart defense. Where if you have 2 non-shooting threats on the floor who are just not getting any reverse spacing, they're gonna take advantage of that. They're gonna exploit that. And you saw that Jalen Suggs was able to be basically a free safety on defense.
Well, they would put Goga on him too, and that was a huge issue because now you just have 2 centers just standing in the paint at all times. That's a non-starter for your offense.
Yeah, the Magic are too good of a team, too good of a defense for you to get away with that. So you have to really make sure that Ajax is not. Again, it was going to sound a lot meaner, but it was Ajax is not a necessary piece for this team.
Yeah.
He can be a very, very good piece for this team, but you could replace all of Ajax's minutes with more AJ Green, and I think this team would still be pretty okay.
That's what they went with in the second half, and it was driving people crazy until the thing about AJ Green, man, he's unflappable. Had a horrible game, both ends. Couldn't hit a shot. The defense wasn't looking great. And then fourth quarter, he knocks down a pair of big threes. He blocks Suggs, I think, out of bounds. He stepped up more defensively.
That block was insane.
That's the thing about AJ Green is even when the results are bad, he almost always he had a bad turnover when he tried to roll it to Dame too on an action. He's got to clean those up. But outside of that kind of thing, otherwise he's almost always in the right spot. He'll just lose sometimes because he's a mortal player. That's the difference, I think, between him and Ajax, though, is Ajax is just more of a wild card, and coaches like to go with the, okay, I know this guy's going to know what to do. And also, shout out to AJ Green, who, couldn't get minutes, to start the season, not even going back to last year. Early this year, was out of the rotation. He's earned it all the way back. Played 32 and a half, was not good for half of them. Doc stuck with him, and honestly, he paid it off, which is probably going to be even bigger for AJ Green going forward. The minutes, I love to look at the rotation and what Doc is going with. Dame 38, Giannis 35, duh. AJ Green next with 32 minutes in this game. Was the 3rd most played player in a big-time game. Then Bobby Portis, then Brook Lopez, then Trent, who, a couple of really bad decisions defensively. The one where he got beat, where Suggs rolled the ball up the court, I was like, really? You're gonna fake jump at the ball 4 times and then just totally fall asleep on it? Like, and then obviously the foul on Jet Howard was just like, what are you up 5 with 4 seconds left? The only thing you can't do in that situation is foul, and he did it.
To be fair, it was kind of a weak call.
I mean, I don't think it was. In that situation, maybe in any other part in the game, you'd say, yeah, that's a foul. I mean, Dame gets one finger on him going around a screen shooting like that. Trent had his whole body into Howard. Just don't do it. I mean, just let the guy shoot. That's the obvious play there. Anyway,
my favorite thing about Gary Trent is his reaction to fouls being called on him.
Oh yeah, he looks despondent.
So animated. It looks like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to him in his whole life every time it happens, and it's so funny.
Also, Doc's got to stop listening to Dame on challenges.
He really did.
They showed the first replay, and literally everyone is immediately like, he got all wrist. Like, not even close. And Dame is like, you got to challenge that. I hope Doc and Doc will, but that's the thing. Doc probably will bring it up. Doc's probably going to charge him for that.
They keep track, don't they? I feel like I've heard players and coaches say, like, yeah, the coaching staff keeps track of, like,
the real answers. You can't listen to any of them.
I think you can.
I don't think anyone is It's like eyewitnesses. They're not. You gotta see the replay.
I would be, if I was an NBA player, I would be ethical in which one.
Oh, I would too.
I'd be the guy who's like, no, coach, it was off me.
Oh no, coach. Yeah, not ref though. Not ref though.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Josh Hart clip after he fouls LeBron?
No.
Josh Hart pushes LeBron on a drive and gets called for the foul. And he must have been mic'd up or something because they got him afterward going up to the official. And he's like, now I'll tell you, I pushed him, but there's no way you could see that from your angle. Come on, there is no way unless you got see-through vision. And I was like, that's really funny.
You know what? The thing, I love Josh Hart, by the way. He's so good. And that it really vindicates me for, like, I feel like years ago, I was like, the 2 players I want are Josh Hart and Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah.
Larry Nance still to be determined. But Josh Hart, yeah, absolutely. Massive win. He's like the final Pokemon evolution of Ajax.
That kind of player is so in vogue right now.
It really is. Like, your Josh Harts, your Bruce Brown, like 2 years ago.
Dearly departed Bruce Brown.
Your Jalen Suggs, kind of. They use Jalen Suggs in a lot of interesting ways.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I thought of with this Orlando team was, is this going to be like a silver lining situation for them, like a year or two down the road with these 2 stars being hurt? Because Suggs has taken on a lot more offensively, and it's not always pretty, and its shooting wasn't efficient, but I think he's had like 30 in back-to-back games now, or close to it at least. I know he had 30 against the Bucks. Like maybe could be good to kind of shock him back into being more of an on-ball option, kind of like Mikal Bridges, like, you know, has been a different player since he got to go to Brooklyn and actually score the ball. Maybe it can awaken something in Suggs that makes them ultimately a little more dangerous. Speaking of danger, Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. I think I was pretty close. The Boston game was my last big play. You're excited about that game. I'm thinking about it all day. I went 5-pick power play. Went for the power play, and I wanted to be bold here. And Khris Middleton's debut, 14 points, rebounds, assists, had to go more than. He had 19. He mostly because of the assists. He had 8 assists against Orlando. I believe he's leading the Bucks in assists since returning. Shout out to Khris Middleton. Damian Lillard, more than 3.5 threes made. Boston does allow a lot of pull-ups because they don't really help that much. He had 4. Jaylen Brown, more than 24.5 points. He had 25 on the nose, so really kind of eked out those last 2. Probably flew a little too close to the sun with Giannis, more than 3.5 dunks. They're a tough defense. I'd hope maybe some more alley-oops. And Chris tried like 4 times, so maybe we could have gotten there. He only had 1. And then Andre Jackson Jr., the Ajax debate, more than 6.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 4. He missed a 3. And as soon as he missed it and got pulled, I knew we weren't going to see him again in that game. That one hurt. I was like, oh, you would have been nice if you cashed that out before Doc vanquished you back to the Shadow Realm, Ajax. So did not get a dub there, but still have had a lot of fun.
I got a 3 out of 4 on that Boston game.
Oh, what'd you get?
On a flex play, so that's a win.
That's a win, yeah.
I'll say the one that didn't go through. Giannis more than 6.5 made free throws. He had
We
4.
tried on that. Yeah.
Andre Jackson Jr. more than half a turnover. He had 2.
More than half a turnover is crazy.
Yeah. Is he
He
gonna have
cut
a
his turnovers right after that. I'm going less than half a turnover on the next cup game if it's there.
Brook Lopez less than 6.5 rebounds and assists combined. He
Ooh,
had 5.
jeez.
And then Derek White, demon time, more than
Oh,
1.5 steals. He had 3.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And 0 shots made out of like 9 tries. What a weird game for Derek White.
He's always gonna he's a very handsy player.
Yeah, he is. He is. Did you see he got a beer?
What?
They made a beer.
Like
Like
a Derek
one of
White
the
beer?
yeah, one of the brewery. I don't know if it was Sam Adams or if, I think it might have been smaller.
Yeah,
I don't know.
all I'm saying is Milwaukee. We need like we're Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Get some.
not enough
Where's
beers.
the Giannis beer?
There should be like everyone in the rotation should have a beer.
Yeah.
I should be able to get a step back lager, Greek Freak hazy IPA. Like
Ooh.
let's get
Let's
working
not
here.
make it a hazy, so I'd like it.
Okay, well give me someone as a hazy. The Gary Trent Jr. hazy IPA. I don't know, I'd drink it.
Did you
I
see
drink
that?
it.
Did you see that photo of that the Bucks tweeted uh after it's like we're going to Vegas or whatever? No, it was the
Oh,
NBA. Yeah.
the graphic. Yeah, it was horrible.
And Ajax should get the hazy IPA.
And then Prize Picks is great. There's no good transition back at this
That's my
point,
fault.
but no, that's okay. So make sure you download the app today. Use code Eurostep to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. We're looking at all these different Bucks projections. Damian Lillard's been red hot. Khris Middleton is back and again piling up assists right now. I think Giannis is due pretty soon too. So would not shy away from Greek Freak, although his numbers are always really big because he's really,
I'll tell
really
you what,
good.
against Brooklyn, another flex play, Giannis more than 27.5 points. This was fun because one good thing about Prize Picks is you can do things after the game has started.
Oh
So
yeah.
this one, I didn't get my picks before the game, so I was like, oh, let me just do it during the game. So
Yeah.
Giannis more than 27.5 points in the first quarter. He ended with 34. Nick
Easy.
Claxton more than 10.5 points. Easy. 21. And then unfortunately, Demon Time, Brook Lopez, 1.5 made threes.
Oh,
He had 0.
I would have felt good about that one too. I see where you were coming from. It was the Bobby game. It's been the Bobby world lately. Hey, Bobby Portis. Whatever you can get on Bobby Portis, throw that in because he is red hot right now. So again, download the Prize Picks app. Use code Eurostep to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. What else stood out about
What
this
brewery
Orlando
do we need to
game?
talk to? Now you got me
All of
thinking.
them.
Yeah.
All of them. Eurostep beer?
Listen. Now you're talking. Now you're cooking with gas.
We need the
Now you're
Greeks
cooking with
that
hops.
listen. We need the Greeks that listen to let us know like what would define a Greek beer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Eurostep should have some sort of Greek influence, but I can't say I've ever tasted a Greek ale.
No, I've yet to go to Greece. It's
Yeah,
on my list. Maybe one day.
I have no concept.
No
I don't even know if
concept
they're
of what.
big beer drinkers.
I don't know either, actually.
The climate seems very attuned to wine.
It's like it's that part of Europe,
Yeah,
Greek
Mediterranean.
beer.
Is anything coming up?
Yeah, there's historic Greek beer.
Oh, is it available
Yeah,
here?
I don't know. Best Greek beer is 2025, top ranked by locals. I'm not gonna look at that. It's not 2025 yet.
Yeah, why would you even want to know?
Okay, we're getting distracted.
Giannis
And by we, I mean
Antetokounmpo.
me.
Well, I was too. Giannis had 37 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 4 blocks, but 6 turnovers. Did not get an upstock despite the 37 points. I just felt like decision-making wise, especially in the first half, wasn't great. Really driving into traffic and getting stolen by Suggs a lot. And then the free throws are starting to grate on me.
Yeah, what was he? 7 of 12 in this game.
58%. He is this
6
season
of 10 on Brooklyn.
one of the worst foul shooters in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean the traditional worst foul shooters in the NBA aren't really getting fouled. Like mostly just
It's
talking
also
about
It's
Ben Simmons.
his worst season in his career as well.
Is it really?
61.1% after that game. His
Oh, it is.
previous low was 63%, and that was way back in the bubble season.
Oh no. Does this mean he's winning MVP?
It might. It might. I don't even want to get into the MVP. Listen, Nikola Jokic is just really fucking good, man.
I know, but Giannis is the best player in the world. Defense matters,
I
man.
don't think so. I know it does.
I'd say it's neck and neck. How about that?
If Giannis played really hard on defense every game, I think that has more of a meaningful impact on this award. We both know that he doesn't.
Yeah. No, that's
And
fair.
I don't want to factor in theoretical defense. He was really good defensively in this game. He had some moments against Brooklyn, and then there's like the Boston game. I didn't think he was that sharp.
I will say Giannis, Giannis and his defense, he is forced to when you have
Yeah.
massive Bobby games.
Yep, 100%.
Like he has no choice.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what Doc Stewart signed off. It's like, Giannis, I need you to lock in. We're playing Bobby so much.
hey man, it might be what he needs to stay sharp out there. I think Giannis is great. I don't even want to do a whole MVP. It's early December. I think it's all going to
Mid-December.
come down to it's the 11th. I don't think that's
I think that counts as mid-December.
early to mid. We'll agree early to mid.
Sure.
Let me have this.
Okay.
It's all going to come down to where these teams are at narrative wise. These two teams, I don't think they're going to give it to anyone else.
I don't think you can give it to anyone else.
Maybe Shea. He had an incredible game against.
Okay, I'll say as of now. Like there's still
Yeah.
a lot of season left to be played.
Yeah,
But as if it ended right now, which obviously it doesn't. So like what's the point?
yeah. I think Shea is the only other guy I could see really getting in the combo.
Yeah.
He looked
100%.
incredible in the their cup win over the
Oh
Mavs.
my God.
last
That
night.
was like you don't typically see superstar versus superstar where one just clearly just pulls the other's pants down. And
Yeah.
that's what we
Well,
saw.
I don't think Shea I think Lou Dort pulled the pants down. I don't know what Shea else did, but Lou Dort was destroying Luka in that game.
Yeah. Did you see he was just constantly just pushing his chest?
Yeah.
Like Luca's just like, I'm just standing here, bro. Like I don't even have the ball.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's how you get under Luka's skin, though.
Lou Dort, sneaky, dirty player.
I think he's just physical.
I think he treads the line.
But I think I think he's very fit. I think that's different. I think very physical is different than dirty.
I'm not saying he is like a very dirty player or anything. I'm saying he treads the line.
I think it's a different thing.
Okay.
I think a dirty player, and maybe I've missed things, and you can inform me. Like if you're not like tripping guys or like pulling guys down from the ground, like I think that is dirty. I think if you're
More
just
of
in
like a
someone's
diving
chest.
knees sort of.
Well, then see, so maybe I've missed this. I have not seen him do. Who's that guy in the Lions that everyone hates?
Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, I haven't seen him Kirby Joseph anyone, so maybe I'm just uninformed here.
God, can we just like suspend Kirby Joseph forever?
I'm down.
You know, I'm so down. He'll do
down
it
if
to
it
himself.
comes
He'll
up
get
to
kicked
me.
out of games. Or wait, no, that wasn't him. That was Branch, right? In that first line.
Yeah,
Packers
yeah.
game?
Branch got ejected for targeting. Yeah. Anyway, Bucks. What do you think about Giannis?
Giannis is really good. It's crazy, right? I think he's playing some of the best basketball of his career. Again, like this Magic game maybe wasn't super emblematic of that because there were just so many turnovers.
Yeah.
But he's scoring at such a high clip. I think he's averaging the second most points per game in NBA history, right behind Shaq.
Wow, I honestly thought it would be Wilt or Kareem.
Currently,
Oh,
yeah.
they probably didn't know.
Yeah, especially for Wilt, they didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it would probably be those guys had insane scoring seasons.
No,
Anyway,
Wilt, he averaged 40 points per game in the paint.
Yeah,
Ty.
yeah, I
We
was
just have
gonna
no
say.
record of it whatsoever.
I feel
So
like
it
we could
obviously
probably
happened.
I feel like we could probably just assume Wilt had more.
No, here's the
I
thing.
don't-
Here's the thing. I'm starting to become a Wilt
Oh
conspiracy
no.
theorist.
This is you next year you're going to be like, "Were we on the moon?" This is a slippery slope.
No. Here's the thing.
Trust history.
You know what? Yes. You know what? Yes. Yeah, I take it back. Yeah, yep. Uh,
This ends with Buzz Aldrin cold cocking Rohan mid podcast.
not Buzz.
He hates people, not the Wilt thing, but he hates people who
He just hates Wilt deniers.
he agrees with me. So it's a slippery slope.
What was I even saying? Oh yeah, Giannis is averaging the second most points
Yeah.
per game in the paint in NBA history, right behind Shaq. He's actually got like the fifth most, I think, right now.
Oh my
Fourth or
God.
fifth. I think Zion actually is like fourth. He's above Giannis, uh, for one season.
Wait.
But
Oh, you mean like not this year? You mean like their total seasons?
like it's individual
Like
seasons.
yeah, he Zion. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Zion had a season where he had like the third most or fourth most
Wow.
points per game in the paint ever.
Wow.
But right now it's Shaq and second is Giannis. Just showing how truly dominant he is and how much he's really refined himself to, Giannis has been like a similar type of player for a while now. He's going to always try to score at the rim, right?
Yeah.
He's just doing it so efficiently, so methodically. And I think he's benefiting a lot more from Damian Lillard. And we're seeing them just spam two-man actions now, which is just light years ahead of what we were seeing last year.
Yeah.
And they know how to read each other's space. We're getting to the point now where Dame is throwing no look behind the back passes to Giannis in the paint.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that pass stood out to me. One, it's beautiful. It was against the Magic. There was a Giannis Dame pick and roll where Dame gets past Goga and just drops a dime right back to Giannis. And one, that's a really pretty pass. So, I love pretty passing. It might be one of my favorite things in basketball. But two, it's just like, oh yeah, they know each other. Like
Yeah.
that's really cool. Like they
Yeah.
they can read each other like that. Giannis knows exactly where he needs to be, what the timing needs to be, which I think is super, super important. And Dame knows that the big fella is going to be right there waiting for it. So Dame is using a lot of his speed, a lot like not even so much of his shooting gravity. We're seeing him leverage a lot of his speed to really get Giannis involved. And I think it's been working out really, really well.
Yeah, I would agree. And Dame's continued to get to the rim more. Again, this was something last season that I think was an underrated piece of why the PNR with those two wasn't as good. At least I know it was still effective, but like Dame without the extra burst that he has now to get to the rim, it just makes it easier to guard that action. You can kind of just both kind of drop back, and or try to force Dame to make a play, and then the bigs would be able to swat the ball. He's getting to the rim more. Giannis is getting to the rim. I mean, this first quarter was frustrating because Giannis would try and drive ISO, and Suggs would go to help and be all over him. They spaced the floor for the pick and roll. Dame gets Giannis moving, with momentum toward the rim, and Giannis was unguardable. And it's true. I mean, Stan Van Gundy was talking about, like, there's nothing you can do about this action. Like, it's pretty much impossible. With the shot maker that Dame is and just the force Giannis is, when he's got momentum toward the rim, you can't just go put a body on him before he gets the ball, right? So it's not impossible, maybe is overstating it, but it's basically there's no way to guard it, and you feel good about the shot you're going to force. So it's great to see those guys forcing more of those actions, and that still is, I think that is maybe now their best play. I think it may be even better than the Khris Giannis pick and roll, although Khris as the backup point guard. Khris just isn't, he was 0 for 2. He's just not shooting much right now. I'm not worried about this yet because he's still having such a huge impact offensively. Just like he might be the slowest player to ever speed up a team this much because he is pushing the ball in transition, and he has thrown. I mean, I know he's had some great pick and rolls with Giannis, and they've done great. Like Khris is kind of spotting up outside of Giannis post ups. I don't know if we've ever seen this many fun like Khris passes, like passing Giannis open to the middle of the floor. I mean, am I just forgetting? This feels different, and I think some of it is, again, Stan was saying on the broadcast on TNT. They have more spacing than ever. I mean, I think we're kind of underrating.
Is this Doc offense cooking?
I think it is. And just like this roster, I mean, all the issues we focus on, but Prince, Green, Portis when he's on, Trent, like they have so much plus spacing. Like these are guys that teams do not want to leave open. and their teams are staying with them that extra half step longer. And Khris has just been able to go, oh, so this is an easy entry pass to Giannis, and he dunks. Like they're getting so much easy action on plays like that, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah. I just think leveraging a lot of speed is so important for this team.
Yeah.
It's just like with Khris, you talk about he's the slowest player to speed of the team, which I really like. Uh it's just playing with pace. It's a lot of that. Like just Dame we were talking about. Shout out to Walton Goggins for getting him right. That's oh my God, no. Walton? Who's the
David Goggins.
oh my God.
You're thinking of the actor from
Oh,
Fallout, aren't you?
wait.
Or do I have it wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Walton
Tremendous
Goggins.
actor.
Yeah.
Tremendous actor.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's Cecil and Invincible.
He's played a lot of good roles. He's finally getting some appreciation after playing the Ghoul on Fallout. Tremendous first season, by the way.
Really, I've never played any of the Fallout games or watched the show.
You don't have to play the games to appreciate the show. It's gory, but I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. It's so now I'm imagining Walton Goggins getting Dame right, and it's so
Dave's a method actor now. Brian Cox hates him.
uh, yeah. But shout out to David Goggins
Yes.
for getting him right. Wow. Too many people named Goggins. That's a fun last name. There's not
Yeah.
maybe that no, I'll take it right back. There's not enough people with the last name Goggins.
Rohan Goggins.
That'd be wild.
I think you sound like a Tolkien character. I don't know if that combo works.
Yeah, maybe not me specifically. Ty Goggins. That's fun.
I
I think
don't
he had
know.
yeah.
I
don't
think you
know.
need at least 2 syllables. I don't know.
Numak
Maybe,
Goggins.
maybe those guys. That sounds like baby noises. I think you have to have very specific first name to work with Goggins. Those 2 guys nailed it.
Yeah, but this offense is really humming along. I'm just struggling trying to keep us on track. It's really humming, and I don't know, like you mentioned this is the most space the Bucks have really played with in years, and it really does feel that way, right?
Yeah.
I think this roster is really set up to succeed in terms of having a lot of spacing. Like it was deliberately built for this, and yeah, it's showing. And 2, just really smart players. Like you mentioned, Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr. really turning it on in terms of his um, offensive output, in terms of moving without the ball and doing good things to set guys up. They're passing guys open so much now. Like that Khris pass to Giannis was really emblematic of that. But that is one thing. I feel like that's the most underutilized tactic in basketball. And yeah, duh, because it's hard. It's like
Yeah.
it's really difficult to do that. You have to have a different level of floor awareness to be able to do that. That's what makes guys like Jokic so incredible. Um, is just being able to see the floor and see where guys are going to move before it happens. And I'm not saying that this is like a Spursian type offense. It's not. It's the most Spursian type offense the Bucks have had.
Yeah. And I think it's getting close to, in the games where they move the ball well, it's getting close to what is probably realistic for this team.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point where watching this game, whenever they're setting up in the half court, I'm like, oh, they're gonna get a good shot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was some shooting variance in this game, too. I mean, they lost the possession battle. They need to rebound better. Orlando was just scrappy. They took like 20 more shots, which is why they were in the game, and the turnovers, too. But when the Bucks ran half court, right, when they did an ISO, when they ran actions, I mean, they were generating open threes all over the place in the first half and just not making them. But I think it was actually kind of a good sign that, okay, even against this fearsome defense, when they take their time and run their sets, they get open looks for good shooters. Like Taurean Prince is missing one. AJ Green missed so many good shots in this game. Like if those guys were as hot as they usually have been this year, Milwaukee could have been nursing a pretty big lead in that fourth quarter, even with all the other mistakes that they had made. So I do think I've continued to feel like when whoever they're playing, Boston, Orlando, these great defenses, when they run their offense, they can generate really good shots. Like they're offensively, this is such a hard team to guard. A lot of it is the three-point shooting has come around in a big way. So
I think they're leading the league in three-point corner shooting percentage at 50-something%.
That sounds right. I mean, this season, Taurean Prince is at 53%. He has not played in a while. Ryan Rollins still at 50%. I'm worried about that shoulder. We'll see. AJ Green, 47% after his recent cold spell. Gary Trent's up to 40% after being ice cold, so that shows you how hot he has been. Bobby Portis is up to 32%, same deal. Dame is at 37%, which is pretty on track for him. I think he could probably raise it a little higher, but on that high volume, on those difficult looks, that's pretty damn good. Ajax 36% and Brooks up to 35%, who he was again much lower. That's most of the rotation. Obviously, Giannis is low. He barely shoots them. Khris is 28% after only taking like 7 threes so far this season. If Khris gets back up to high 30s, low 40s, that's just a crazy amount of space. Like, obviously, they had Beasley last year. They had AJ Green last year. He wasn't playing as much. But just having that extra guy in the Prince/Trent, whoever you want to charge it to, where before it was like, Boss man. Boss man's not giving you much space. Gallo, Pat Connaughton, like I think they even with Ajax, still being kind of a not someone teams are worried about shooting the ball. I think they just have an extra guy who spaces, and that's probably also some of the reason Ajax isn't playing as much. Like they just have a lot of guys. I mean, we talked about this before the season. It's a lot of good players on this team.
Yeah, and that's like what I was saying earlier about like Ajax not being essential to the team. That's probably I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's like he can definitely be a very valuable piece to this team. I'm saying that there's so many other good players around him where it's like his play is not necessarily like one game. You don't have to play Ajax like a ton of minutes. Like I still think he should play. I still think he should get a shot because he can really impact a game if he gets going. But it's like doesn't work out. That's fine. And that goes for not just Ajax. It goes for everyone else up and down the roster. Like Gary Trent Jr., you're not having a great game. It's fine.
Taurean Prince,
you're not having a great game. It's fine.
Yeah.
We got other guys who can step up.
I mean, they are right now, even with Khris limited, and I think Doc has gotten to the right group. They are 9 deep, and it's 9 players. Personally, I feel good about playing in the playoffs with the caveat that maybe Ajax gets pulled some games if it's not going right. That's still, even if he only plays a little bit, you still have 8 players left. I mean, that's a good amount of players, man. Like 8, 9 guys in a playoff, that's a big playoff rotation. It's going to get smaller than that. But it's going to be hard, I think, to determine.
Come into it? Because
I don't know. Khris coming back? I don't know, man.
That was a joke. But
yeah.
AJ Johnson breakout performance in the playoffs? The Jeff Teague Memorial? I say memorial. These guys aren't dead.
Yeah. Glad you clarified that.
Yeah. But
Jeff Teague is alive, well, in podcasting.
It's just, I don't know. What's a good word instead of memorial, though?
I think it can still be a memorial.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you have to be dead to be memorialized?
I don't think so. Recognize people while they're alive.
Oh, I wanted to Google memorial, and it went to Memorial Day. No, I just need to know memorial itself.
I think it's like in honor of, right?
I would think so. I'm just seeing funeral homes. How do I memorial Wikipedia?
Or definition.
Memory or commemoration. Usually an influential deceased person. Not always.
Yeah.
Or a historical tragic event.
Yeah, fair enough. But what was I even saying? Yeah, this rotation is just so deep, and you don't even have to play all these guys. Like it's going to shrink. You can afford to have a short leash, which is what I think Doc is going. Here's the thing about Doc. He's both a coach who has a short leash with players, but will also give them room to improve.
Yep.
It's a tough line to really tread and to balance that because you don't want guys to just burn out and be like, okay, you're out. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Marjan experience. You play like one good game and you're still out.
Yeah.
That dude's still on the team. It's crazy.
He's been battling an injury.
Has he?
Yeah. Every time they're like, Marjan's going to be able to play, he keeps getting into the Eric Dame tweets because like he keeps being on the injury report and everyone's like, thank God Marjan's in.
He'll save the day. Every time I load up, I see Eric Dame, I'm like, oh, Marjan's ready.
Yeah, Marjan time.
I wish. God, he could have been
that
so
one
good.
game.
Yeah, but it's like that type of experience. It's like you have a good game, but then you don't get any room for improvement. Gary Trent Jr., I think, is a good example of this.
Yep.
He had a short leash with Gary Trent Jr. Early on, he was not outside of the opening night against the Sixers, he was struggling. He was not playing really well at all. He eventually gets pulled from the starting lineup. Obviously, there was an injury that played a factor in that as well. But he gave him room to thrive off the bench. He was like, we're not going to completely excise you. We're going to let you play. We're going to let you take shots. And I think the first time he came off the bench, he was like, yeah, the first couple plays, we're drawing it up right so Gary can get comfortable. That's a good example. Ajax, I think, is also a good example. Like you have a short leash with him at times, like the Magic game, where he's able to say, okay, you know what, this isn't really working. We're going to pull you. There's also opportunities where it's like, yeah, just go wreak havoc on on another team. Like go out and do things. Like he's very transparent about things being situational. It's situational and having a short leash, but also letting guys thrive.
He's just honest, I feel like. He's just, and he'll tell the media, he'll tell Ajax himself, like, yeah, like
he'll just
he needs to do this. Well, I also think, like, I don't think it's bad for a young player, especially on a good team, for there to be real accountability. Like, you want more minutes, go earn the minutes, and you can look at someone like AJ Green, who was on a two-way last season, or the season before last. 2 seasons ago now. God, we're old. But it's just earned his way in. I know. But I think, this is how players improve. I thought Ajax played one of his best games against Brooklyn where he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over against Orlando either, which I think is positive. He did have 2 pretty quick fouls, one of which was, I thought, a pretty bad decision on his part. But I think, again, it's the world doesn't revolve around him. You'd hope that he can continue to improve. And I think he will be. Like, he's going to be a playoff player. I mean, he's still starting.
100%.
And I think he's just going to remain starting. It's just, I don't think he needs 20 minutes every night, no matter what. I just don't think that's how coaching a team with Dame, Giannis, Chris Brook works. The fact that he's starting still at this point, he's getting valuable reps. I have no issue if he's going to play more or less some nights based on how teams are. Again, it's not all him. Orlando is a really tough defense, and they were making life way too hard on the Bucks offense with Ajax out there. That or Ajax isn't playing well, like, I think that's a learning experience. I'm still high on him this season and going forward. He's not going to play 25 minutes every game no matter what, partially because there's just too many players.
Yeah. Who would have thought a second-round pick in his second year would be one of the most divisive talking points for the Bucks?
Well, the funny thing is, I feel like, does he even show up if you pull up, like, Bucks draft picks because they traded for the pick?
Does he?
I don't know. But you see all these screenshots of, like, look how bad the Bucks are with the draft. And they leave off AJ Green because he was undrafted. And I'm not even sure Ajax shows up depending on where you look because they technically, Orlando picked him and then traded him. So, it's like, oh, the screenshot has RJ Hampton.
I was just about to say, yeah, they've got RJ Hampton on here.
Yeah, the draft sites
Thornwell.
The draft sites are all flawed. So it's like, yeah, great screenshot. If you watch the game, you'll see 2 players that they.
You don't even have to watch the game. You just need to know who's on the team.
But I'm saying, like, you'll see 2 guys who they acquired on draft nights who have made huge impacts for the Bucks.
Yeah,
they missed out Marjan. They have hit on other guys. Also, like Sam Merrill. Low-key hit. Like, I think they're a little underrated when it comes to the draft. I don't think they're great, but I think they've gotten some results.
Sam Merrill was a UDFA?
No, he's 60. Last pick.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's been so long. I forgot about that.
Somebody, like, a month ago, be like, and they let him go for nothing. When I was like, well, they
traded for Grayson.
Oh, he was a starter who they then traded for Damian Lillard. It's like, maybe not nothing, but go off.
Grayson was... That's a much better player than Sam Merrill. Like, unequivocally. I love Sam Merrill. And I'm so happy he's like a rotation player with Cleveland. But it's like, that was just a flat out win.
Yeah.
Isaiah Todd, classic Bucks draft pick,
Yeah. Those sites need to do it smarter. Like, I don't even know where you'd look for year-over-year actual draft results at this point.
I don't even know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, God, remember the Bucks had like 3 draft picks in a year? They took Thon Maker, Malcolm Brogdon, and Patrick McCaw. They obviously kept all of those players.
Yeah. I thought Pat McCaw was going to be good.
I mean, he was like a 3-time champ in a row, right?
Yeah, but
2 Warriors, 1 with the Raptors.
Wasn't much because of Pat McCaw, but yeah.
Hey, You say it wasn't much because of Pat McCall, but all I'm saying is that the Bucks are undefeated when Thanasis is courtside.
They need to sign him. They clearly need to sign him. They are better when he is at the games. I need someone to pull the stats. I think they are way better when he's at the games. Exactly.
Yeah, it's that's the stat.
Yeah. I think it's a clear difference.
Eat the tax hit for just cutting Marjan and then just signing Thanasis.
Or I would.
It's if there's Marjan available, do that, not DeLon Wright yet.
Who's had better total minutes this year?
DeLon Wright.
Really?
Yes.
If you sum up all their minutes.
Yes.
I mean, Marjan was a positive.
If you sum up all their minutes, you want me to run
was a positive.
You want me to do
minutes.
an actual trend analysis on this? I will, to spite you.
Go ahead. I don't think it's going to turn out the way you want. I'm pretty sure DeLon Wright has the worst plus-minus swing on the team.
All I'm saying is DeLon Wright is an actual NBA player.
I'm saying we don't know Marjan isn't.
We have more evidence for the former rather than the latter.
I mean, yeah, we do about John Stockton, too. Would you rather sign him or Marjan? We're talking about ancient history here.
We have more evidence this season that DeLon Wright is a productive player.
I don't think we do.
Here's the thing about DeLon Wright. Again, like he wasn't great. I say this like he's not on the team. He's still on the team.
Bad. Yeah.
No, I don't think bad is a good word to use. I think not good. I think he was at worst like a net neutral.
I disagree. I think he was so grating for their offense.
Their offense, but he was valuable on defense.
Yeah.
You say that like it's not worth anything.
It's just not worth much to me.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked over to the tab where it's Walton Goggins' IMDb. And it's just like some Fallout press is just playing next to me. And I'm like, Jonathan Nolan, what are you doing?
I think you're right that, I mean, we just have to change what we look at DeLon. He's not a backup point guard by any means. And I just think, okay, if that's the case, then he is like the 9th most valuable off-ball player on the team, and I'm just not that invested anymore. There's just so many guys which is why he's out there. There's so many guys I'd rather see playing than him.
No, 100%. I'm not saying I want to see DeLon Wright play for this team.
I'm ready to see Marjan again. I'm ready to see Marjan again. He was good in his last stint.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to fight you on that.
I can't believe we've reached a
point. I know. This is like we've done a 180.
I am trying to get your guy Marjan to play more, and you're like, no, it's DeLon Wright is better.
I think he is.
We'll see. We've got to wrap up.
We're not going to see. That's the thing. We're not.
Yeah, we probably won't see both of them. Just wait until Marjan's putting up 20 on 21 shots in the Pistons. You'll see.
Here's the thing about Marjan. If you're not going to play him, just like have him just build his trade, assuming he's not actually injured. If he is injured, this is...
Well, I think he's fighting something.
Okay. But when he's healthy and probable, available to play for the Bucks, just go have him. If you're Rich Paul, what's the argument against having him just go down with the hurt?
Wouldn't surprise me if we see it now that they're back healthy.
Yeah.
Ish. We'll see how long that remains.
Speaking of the hurt, Henry Ellenson had a great game, didn't he?
He's heating up a little bit after the AmeriCup. He was gone for about a month.
Tyler Smith also putting up 20-plus points.
AJ Johnson's starting to hit some shots now. Had a beautiful step back the other day.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Do we have any other Bucks things we need to talk about here, Ty?
I don't think so. I'm excited. When do they play? Friday?
They play Saturday. Oh, Saturday?
Oh, uh-oh.
Saturday
NBA
is the Cup game. Yeah.
Okay, is it? Okay.
I believe they will play Saturday in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're correct.
As opposed to the other Las Vegas.
It will either be 3:30 or 7:30 p.m. Central. I am going to go ahead, wild guess. They are going to put Bucks and Hawks. Well, Knicks, maybe?
Maybe.
I'll say it depends on the other game is Warriors-Rockets. If the Rockets win, the Bucks may be at 7:30. If it's Warriors-Thunder, the Bucks will be at 3:30.
Yeah, 100%. I even think Rockets-Thunder.
I think Bucks-Knicks has a shot there.
Bucks-Knicks definitely has a shot. Here's the thing about Bucks-Knicks.
But it's also just an earlier time zone, though.
The thing about Bucks-Knicks is the Bucks get rocked.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
They're ready to get their lick back. Like Giannis did on Goga.
Yeah, it's much easier to do that against Gogo Pataze than the New York Knicks.
Good player now.
He's an all right player.
I think it'd be a track meet. I think the Bucks can be a lot better against the Knicks than they showed that last game.
I 100% agree with that. And I was going to say it's a neutral site. Is there a neutral site against the Knicks?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a heavy Knicks presence.
No. Here's the thing: Bucks fans are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't
play in Greece. See who's got the neutral site advantage then.
Play in where's Cat?
I'm not going for it.
DR?
I'm not going for it.
Oh, no.
I'll go for Greece. I'll say Athens. I'm comfortable saying Athens. It's too early for me to try and pronounce things.
Yeah, he's Dominican Republic. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was right.
Oh. I thought you were trying to pronounce something.
No, I was saying I was like, because you said Greece, and I'm like, oh, where's Cap from? The DR, right?
The way you said it all at once, I thought you were trying to say either a Greek city or arena. And I just tapped out immediately. I was on a totally wrong wavelength there.
Yeah. I mean, his family's from the DR, I should say. He was born in the US.
Does he play for the...
He does.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
He was playing in the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, shout out to Cat for that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that when guys could play for the US but choose to play for other countries.
The anti-Embiid.
I'm not even going to say that. Like, because I don't even think Embiid... Like, I don't think it's a bad choice for Embiid to go play for Team USA.
France is pretty loaded, too.
Yeah. And exactly. You could...
Would have been cool to play for Cameroon.
It would have been cool, but here's the thing: I'm not gonna denounce anyone for saying you shouldn't be an American or to like play for the American. Like, I'm not gonna say that. Like, no, have pride. Like, do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's also cool when people do that.
I agree.
Yeah, like both choices are fine.
Does Ayton play for the Bahamian team?
Yes.
That's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
It's extra respect. I'm not saying it's disrespect for picking America. I think it is extra cool to show up for a country like that.
How about more
personally.
respect? I respect him more.
Yeah.
But it's not. I still respect it. I'm just digging myself.
Well, I don't respect Embiid, but it's not for that reason.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
What are the Sixers in the standings now? What's our hate watch?
Oh, I think they've risen a little bit.
That's unfortunate. They got like 2 wins or 3 wins, didn't they?
They're all the way up to 12th.
Wow. Look at them. They're 7-15. God, how have the Pistons played 3 more games than the Sixers?
They've played a lot of games. Actually, the Sixers just haven't played any because it looks like almost every team has played 14 or 15. So the Sixers have this light
15.
schedule. They've only played, or 25. They've only played 22 games, and they still stink.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The Magic have played 27 games?
What?
What is going on with the schedule, Adam
It's
Silver?
the cup, man. It throws everything off.
But it doesn't have to be 27 games versus a team that's played 20. They've played 7 more games than Philly.
No, they played 5 more games than Philly.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Still.
But still, 5 more games is a lot.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, everyone's hovering around like 24, 25. Then you got the Magic at 27, and then the Sixers at 22. That's crazy.
The Wiz have only played 22 and won 3 of them.
How does that make any sense? Is it the same in the West? No, the West is pretty even.
Well, the Nuggets have only played 22.
Crazy.
But teams have not played as much as these Eastern teams. The Blazers have played 24, and the Pelicans have played 25.
Kings have played 25.
The now dead last in the West, pals.
Yeah, it's what did you think was going to happen when you don't have an actual center? But I mean, obviously it's the injuries.
Misi's been good.
I know. The obvious issue with the Pelicans is not they should have a starting.
No, they should have a whole starting lineup.
They should have a team to play basketball.
Yeah.
Man.
I'll say this: I do not think the Bucks are getting Herb Jones.
No.
Just want to put because I know there's
do they need
speculation.
Is there? I haven't seen any of that.
Well, it's Shams is like teams are calling about Herb Jones, which immediately Herb Jones is about to get traded. No, teams
Jimmy Butler though.
Yeah, that one is. I just can't picture it personally, but apparently, I don't know.
Apparently, he's been doing it with his hair has been like the teams that have been okay on the list. So he's had like white, like yellow hair for the Warriors. He's had blue hair for the Mavs, and he's had red hair for the Rockets.
I'll tell you this. I didn't expect this. I watched that starting five show that they did, like the quarterback version on Netflix. I'd say Jimmy Butler came off as probably the least likable guy on the show.
Yeah. I mean, we also did kind of see this coming when we said, yeah, if he's not getting his extension, something crazy is gonna
Yeah,
happen.
we did. But still, I felt like they worked through it. It's weird that it's coming up now.
I
But
think it's
I
been
guess,
bubbling all season long.
but like they've been kind of good lately. They're up to fifth in the East. Like that's what that doesn't like. If this came out when they were like 10th, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I see it. It's weird that it comes out after they start to play well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what's weird about it. I mean, they're not looking great, but they're certainly looking better.
I mean, yeah, they're 12 and 10, 2 games above 500. I mean, that's the same as the Bucks.
Nothing
but
wrong with that.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with 2 games above 500.
That's great. That's amazing. You know what? In the East, that's a good team.
Yeah.
Bucks are 2 games behind the Knicks now for fourth home court advantage.
Yep.
They're 2.5 games out of third. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think that's the new goal for me.
Third?
Finish
yeah,
third.
because you're not gonna get first or second.
Not at this. I mean, there'd have to be an insane, a double. It'd be double insane, right? One of the top two has to fall off really badly, and the Bucks would have to be red hot. And
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get both over a long enough time.
No, third is the most attainable. Like at this
Yeah.
point of the season, where what more than a quarter of the way through the season.
Honestly, it's way too early for this. But if you finish fourth and the Cavs are one, that's pretty good too.
I'm not mad about it.
And it's not that I look forward to playing the Cavs in the
I'd rather play
playoffs,
them
but
than Bucks.
then rather play them than Boston.
But yeah, it's 29% of the way through the season already.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can't do full standings watch, but we can see how things develop.
We can see what's realistic. Like there's 6
Yeah.
games out of second. Like it's tough to overcome something like that. And that team that's in second is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
That's just tough.
How many dummies do you think would pick Philly over Cleveland or Boston if they get through the play-in?
It's people are going to pick them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they might win game 1. No, I'm not even gonna say
No,
they're gonna
they
get
won't.
swept.
Yeah.
I could see people getting suckered into it, but like I understand why. Because it's like, oh, what if this team figures it out, you know? It's
I
like
just think we've seen this movie
Paul
too many
George,
times.
Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. They might play like 5 minutes together. That 5 minutes they could score 100 points.
Yeah.
And then you just need to score like 20 the rest of the way and you're
And they can't do it.
and they go the entire second half without scoring a point.
Game 2, Embiid doesn't show up till halfway through the second quarter. Tyrese is just like, come on, man. You got to be here on time.
Sorry, I was I don't even know, what does Embiid do?
FIFA.
Yeah. He was
Feel like
he was
he's a
no,
gamer.
sorry. I was in Spain for the Real Madrid game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Joel, we're playing in the playoffs, sorry.
I was tweeting.
I was tweeting Hala Madrid.
Yeah.
I have Embiid's tweet notifications on for some reason.
That's sick.
Yeah, I need to
That's
turn them
sick.
off.
Wrap up the whole pod. I'm done.
Yeah, I should turn that off. It was back when it was like super interesting, and he was just I think it was when him and Kat were really going at it,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, oh, I want to be updated. But yeah, that was fun. I think Kat won that beef, by the way.
I was gonna say I was just gonna say like surprising
You
results.
already swore
of
on the spot,
that
right?
feud. Yeah.
Yeah, the bitch made tweet was so funny. Like
Yeah.
that's like the pettiest thing that anyone has ever done.
Dude, Cat is gaining a lot of points right now with New York.
All I'm saying is that trade is terrible for the Wolves.
Yeah.
So bad. We thought it was like relatively like both. What are both teams doing? No, it's
Yeah.
what are the Timberwolves doing?
I'll tell you what. This is why I would never in my life go, yeah, let's trade Khris Middleton for Jeremy Grant.
Never.
You should never step ladder down from star to less than. And I know
And even
Randall
if-
is close, but it's
not
different.
and it's like even if they're not playing like a star. Like Khris Middleton right now not playing like a star at all.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a question.
Yeah.
Cat at times with the Wolves not playing like a star. They're still they're still star type players.
Yeah.
Like you have to
100%.
trust that part of it, especially when they're like a homegrown guy. I don't
Yep.
get it. I don't get
Yep.
it. Khris Middleton for Jeremy Grant would break my heart.
Yeah. I mean, they would just lock them into mediocrity.
It would. It would
which is where the
100%.
Wolves are now.
Yeah. I will say, what'd you think of the? I know we're way over my what that I said.
I was gonna say this is
No,
it's not my
no,
heart
I'm
out.
good. I'm good. What'd you think of the new Jingle Bells commercial? Uh,
Horrible,
it's bad, right?
horrible.
I think
So
it speaks
disappointing.
volumes that they couldn't even get them all in the same room. They had to do it animated.
And
Jingle Hoops,
like
sorry, that's what I'm thinking of.
no Giannis. Like that was obviously disappointing.
Yeah, the highest scoring duo in the NBA is not playing on Christmas, by the way.
Or in the oh yeah, I guess it's all the guys who are playing on Christmas. That makes sense. Yeah, it's never going to be the same animated. And also, I thought the animation style sucked. I saw people are calling it AI.
I was
don't
gonna
know
say,
I don't think that it's AI.
when I first watched it, I was like, is this like AI generated? It
I
didn't
hope
look
it's
fully
not.
like that, but I feel like they might have generated some assets.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I think that's like standard now, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't. I thought. I mean, it was like nice nostalgia. It sounds nice. And then you look at the TV and you're like, oh, it's this.
Yeah.
The fact that they did the actual. I mean, maybe they. I don't know if they actually did it, but at least it looked like they actually did it for the last one. That was such a better commercial.
I think they did do it. Or maybe they didn't have everyone, but at least they had a few people in the same
Well, I
room
mean,
with it.
like I don't know if how much they zhuzh up like the sound effects and editing and
Oh, I
you
thought you
know.
meant like were they all even in the same room
No,
together?
no, I meant like getting all the shots to line up perfectly like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, such a great idea in the NBA.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of glad that the Bucks aren't playing on Christmas. So I don't have to like worry about it.
They haven't had a great experiences on Christmas Day for the most part.
They've had a few wins on Christmas. I will say the
The
first time they
Wes
played in
Matthews game,
the Wes Matthews game. Oh my
that's
goodness.
probably my favorite Bucks Christmas game.
Yeah, I the first one as well when they played the
Yeah,
Knicks.
Knicks.
Remember I was on a plane to India,
Oh
and
wow,
thankfully the plane had like they had like live TV, so I could like watch it, and I was
that's
like, this is
sick.
so cool.
That's got to be a long flight. You probably saw a lot of games that day.
Yeah, I'm also someone who can't sleep on planes.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, it kind of ruins my body when I travel
Oh yeah,
long
I've
distances.
never done that one. That a flight that far. That has to be. Maybe I could sleep
No,
on
it's
that.
like I did fall asleep
Okay,
because
yeah.
it's too long. Your
That's
body.
like what 16 hours.
There's you usually stop in like the Middle East.
Oh okay.
So it's like 12 hours or something to sometimes it's UAE
Yeah,
or Qatar. And then it's like another like 5 or 6. So it's like total like 18 hours.
yeah.
Plus you have to stop and you have to do customs
Oh
both
yeah,
times. It's really annoying. I will say
yeah.
when I went to Spain last year, it was like I flew to New Jersey and then flew directly to Madrid. And that was like an 8 or something hour
That's
flight.
probably shockingly quick. Yeah,
That's not quick at all, by the way.
but compared to India.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did not sleep a wink.
Oh,
I was like, I can't do this.
what time did the flight leave?
In the so my flight from Chicago was like 7 a.m. or something.
That's not bad though.
So and then I flew to New Jersey. Then I had a break. Then I had another 8 to 10 hour flight. So it was like a whole day.
But what time did you land in Spain?
I don't
There
remember.
in Spain time, like evening.
Oh, it was the morning.
Oh, that sucks
Yeah,
then.
it was the morning.
Okay,
It was bright and early in the morning.
I didn't factor the time change too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
brutal.
So I got there, and the worst part is I don't know why we're talking about this. Uh, I started to fall asleep as the plane was landing.
No.
And I
Oh,
was
that's
like, oh my
brutal.
God, I might actually fall asleep. It's like we are beginning our
And then
descent.
touchdown.
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Honestly, if you could have powered through and gotten 5 minutes, it would have changed your day.
Here's the thing, where I got to where I was staying, and then I slept for like 2 hours. And
Oh, that's not
and
bad.
and then it
Yeah.
shocked me into, going the rest of the day. I was
That
still
might be
really
that
tired.
might be that might be best case though. Because if you try to push through with no sleep, I think you probably would have only made it
I
to
would
like
have
6 p.m.
collapsed.
Yeah, you would have made it to like 6 p.m., which is like not even dinner time in Spain.
No, it's like 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, now that we've gotten our little travel section done, I think we'll wrap this up. So
Okay.
thank you for listening to this episode of the Eurostep here on Blue Wire and GSPN, presented by our great friends over at PrizePicks. Get them to 100 million users in the US.
Should be easy. If half of our listeners tune in, I think they'll get there.
Yeah, easily. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast. I'll say, if you like me rambling, check out gspn.info and subscribe to GSPN Premium. You'll get fun content like GSPN After Dark, where it's just us talking about the most random things. And it's so fun every time. And people seem to like it, so that's good.
Oh
Eight
yeah.
bucks a month. You also get a commercial-free feed of all GSPN podcasts and exclusive written content, all that fun stuff, bonus content, all that great stuff. But yeah, no matter where you're subscribed, make sure, or no matter how you're listening or watching, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Engage in the comments on YouTube. Pod random, and we'll talk to you next time.